The biggest financial supporter of the proposed Hidalgo County Healthcare District finally talked about their side of Prop 1 argument. It happened while a lawsuit was pending in district court. That suit claims Hidalgo County mobile voting locations are an attempt to rig the election in favor of Proposition 1. Our Channel 5's Leslie Aguilar is live in our Hidalgo County newsroom with all the details. Leslie.
Letty, right now, plaintiffs on that lawsuit are waiting on a regional presiding judge in Corpus Christi to decide whether a new judge will be assigned to the case. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance says this lawsuit is just an attempt to hinder voter turnout.
My options, I believe.
The courtroom filled this morning with people on both sides of the Proposition 1 issue. The hearing was scheduled for a judge to decide whether to put a temporary restraining order on Hidalgo County mobile voting units.
The county's loading up the voting machines and taking them to Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, taking them to the places who have given money to the pro-Prop 1 issue. And that's fundamentally wrong. It's manipulation of the election. They're trying to pick their voters rather than let the voters decide.
Jared Navar represents the plaintiffs in the lawsuit. He filed a motion asking Judge Rudy Delgado to recuse himself from the case, since his son works for Juan Chuy Hinojosa. Hinojosa is a prominent sponsor of Proposition 1. The judge refused to recuse himself, but forwarded the case to the presiding regional judge. That judge will decide which judge should hear the Prop 1 case. All this means the mobile voting units will likely go out as planned on Monday. 3 of the controversial mobile voting locations are at this intersection: the Women's Hospital for DHR, the main campus at DHR, and Lone Star National Bank. They say all of those locations are biased because DHR paid so much money in support of Prop 1, and the chairman for the board of directors of Lone Star Bank also sits on the board for DHR. The county used the same locations several times since 2012 in other elections. DHR Governmental Affairs Officer Sofia Hernandez says the hospital volunteered to host voting sites before Prop 1 was an issue.
It's important that voters have an access point. We've again have units on our campus since 2012, way before I think it was inaccurately stated that this had to do with legislation or the proposition.
Navar says the 2012 election did have something to do with the proposition, even though it wasn't on the ballot yet.
There were commissioners' court elections on the ballot.
The controversy over the voting locations caused DHR to finally speak on the issue.
We are very proud to be hosting a mobile voting unit on our campus, and we will continue being a civic leader in our community. We will not be dissuaded by smear campaigns or other frivolous accusations by naysayers.
Chairman of the DHR Board of Directors, Dr. Carlos Cardenas, says yes, the hospital does fiercely support Proposition 1. He says that has nothing to do with the voting locations and everything to do with making health care more accessible in Hidalgo County.
It is our duty, nay, our responsibility to make sure that we attempt to make those changes that make this a healthier environment for all.
Proposition 1 would raise $24 million of tax money for the healthcare district. Cardenas says that money will go back to the community by building a better health network.
How will the funds be spent? Well, they're going to be spent on direct patient care. The district will only reimburse providers for treatment provided at Medicaid rates, which only covers 58% of the actual costs for the hospitals. The hospitals don't profit from this program.
Early voting will start Monday. It lasts for 2 weeks, whether the mobile sites are in place or not. 29 permanent early voting locations will still be placed across Hidalgo County. The plaintiffs in that lawsuit still want a temporary restraining order on those locations, even if it happens after early voting starts. Now, Navar says the plaintiffs in this case would prefer a visiting judge from outside Hidalgo County hear the lawsuit. Live in our Hidalgo County newsroom, Leslie Aguilar, Channel 5 News at 6.